Welcome to Section 1.8, Applications, Feedback Control, and Real-Time Measurements. This is from a book. I'm going over lectures from each section. I'm Piccone, Garbini, and Devine are my co-authors on the book. It's published by MIT Press. Check out the website. And rtcbook.org has the companion website. Okay, short lecture on applications, feedback control, and real-time measurement. One of the primary applications of real-time computing for mechanical engineers is that of feedback control. This is my jam right here, feedback control. It is a powerful idea. A desired system state is compared to a measurement of its actual state, and actuation is applied such that the difference between the desired and the actual state, which we would call the error, is minimized. Zero, ideally. Progression of control systems. Very brief history. Water clocks, regulated by float valves, were around 300 BC. So that was a while ago. And we're going to look at what that would look like down here in a moment. We went from these mechanical decision logic control systems later to steam engines as well, which had regulators on them. And finally, in the early 20th century, we got to electrical circuits performing the logic functions. And this is where control theory proper really began. People started to think about control systems as an object of inquiry. And finally, in the late 20th century, we got real-time computers performing the control logic in feedback control systems. And that is the current state of affairs. Previously, the mechanical organization of the system had to perform the logic, as in the flow regulation example illustrated in the figure. So we have a tank of a fluid, let's say it's water, tank of water, and a float valve. Okay, a float valve is actuated by a float that, of course, as the level of the water rises or falls, it rises and falls with that level. So the float valve is actuated by the motion of the water. And we have this lever that moves the other side of the float valve. And that side turns off the input flow or turns it back on. So this can be used to regulate the level of water in this tank. And if the water level in this tank is kept at a constant level, then the outflow will also flow at a constant rate, which was used for telling time back in water clock days in 300 BC. So this very simple feedback control system measured the height of the water and actuated the input to the system based on that height. So we have a very simple rudimentary control system here, feedback control system. In the modern world, although we do still use this mechanism in toilets, we have replaced in most of our feedback control systems the decision or logic with a computer, okay, with a real-time computer that takes a reading from a sensor, so a level sensor in this case, and has an output that would actuate the valve for the input flow. So this is the modern control system. This is the ancient control system, which is still very useful. So there is feedback control with a real-time computer, feedback control loops. Consider the general feedback control loop shown in the figure below. Okay, so we've got a plant, and this is the system under control. It's conventionally called the plant. The output of the plant is what we want to control. So what comes out of the plant right here, that is the variable we would like to control. The output is measured with a sensor. So this is the plant output. We feed it back via a sensor. And the sensor takes a reading of what this output variable is And this measured sensor reading is fed back to our controller, which is instantiated as a real-time computer in our case, in most modern control systems. The real-time computer determines, based on a control law, which you have to design. That's what control systems engineers do, is design what the control law should be. Based on a control law that's implemented digitally in the computer, it has a corresponding control signal that comes out of the computer and is fed to an actuator, which actually actuates the plant input. So the plant's input comes from the actuator. We call that the control effort. Okay, so this is the general control feedback loop. And this is something ubiquitous in modern products, in modern technologies, this sort of feedback loop. Feedback control and real-time computing. The tasks generated in the real-time computer are usually periodic. We talked about periodic tasks versus aperiodic tasks, because the control law is created with some specific sample rate, which is the frequency at which the input and output are updated. Almost always we have a specific sample rate that we use in the design of that control law, and the performance of that control law depends on that sample rate staying constant. So we have a periodic task, which is to update the control law. If it doesn't get updated, then we have no guarantees that our designed performance will actually occur. The associated deadlines for these tasks are usually hard deadlines, because feedback control is usually crucial to the operation of the system. If it's not functioning properly, very often the system won't be functioning properly and could cause damage. Missing deadlines leads to degraded performance that can quickly escalate to system failure, potentially injury and damage and all that. So we are usually very keen to hold the sample rate constant, and we consider that to be a hard deadline when that sample is supposed to occur. So real-time computing for feedback control, very important in terms of the real time. Okay, real-time measurement. Another application of real-time computing, in addition to feedback control, of particular interest to mechanical engineers, is measurement. Real-time measurement is usually accompanied by digital signal processing, sometimes abbreviated DSP, to update some real-time display of measurement data. An example of such a system is a spectrum analyzer. An input signal is processed with a fast Fourier transform, or FFT algorithm, and displayed to a user on a screen. Given that the considerations involved in real-time measurement are a subset of those in feedback control, that is, measuring is a part of the feedback control process. We have the sensor measurement that comes back. We focus on feedback control without losing generality. So if we work on feedback control, we include real-time measurement as an aspect of our inquiry. We will return to feedback control theory in later chapters. In particular, we will consider digital control theory, the study of realizing controllers in real-time computers. So more to come on that in a few chapters, but I wanted to talk about in this chapter 1 what the applications are that we're building up toward. As mechanical engineers, what is it that's interesting to us about real-time computing, deadlines, tasks, and this is a bit of a preview of where we're going with things. We're going to be controlling the motion of a motor, and our sensor is going to be an encoder, and our actuator is going to be, you can think of it as being the amplifier or the motor itself rotating the mechanical load. So depending on your point of view, the actuator is the amplifier, or the actuator is the motor. Okay, so that's what's coming. I'll see you in the next lecture.